Hello, my beautiful feather tribe, and welcome back to Unbound Soul Tarot. My name is Helen, and I am thrilled to welcome you to another reading. So today we are going to be looking at what will lead you to success. And the way that this reading is structured is that we are first going to look at the energy that you yourself are in, the energy that is around you, and also the energy of the situation or circumstances that you are dealing with. Then we are going to move on to the tarot portion of the reading, and we will find out the question or the answer to the question, what will lead you to success? We will look at all of the details more closely. And then finally, we will get you some spiritual guidance or advice as well, regarding what is the best course of action for you, or what spirit wants you to know at this time to help you along this path. So, having said that, let's just get straight into the piles that you get to choose from today. So we have 4 of them. And again, as you can see, there are 4 distinct decks as well as some gemstones. So we have pile number 1 over here with the blue lace agate, and I mean, I don't know why, but for some reason the camera doesn't really want to pick up on these smaller items or details, so yeah. Oh yeah, there it is. So this is this blue lace agate. Has a bit of a funky shape to it. And to accompany it, or accompanying the deck of the Field Tarot. So somewhat bright backs. Again, they don't really show up that well on camera, but there you go. So that is pile number 1. The Field Tarot and blue lace agate. Now moving on to pile number 2, we first have, I think this is Pyrite, but I'm not 100% sure because this was added as a gift with a deck that I purchased. So, and they didn't specify what it was, but just by the looks of it, it looks like Pyrite. So I'm gonna go with that. So there you go. Nice and sparkly. And then we also have the Darkness of Light Tarot for pile number 2. Okay. And moving on to pile number 3, we have this beautiful Tiger's Eye wand. I mean, it's tiny, but it's still, it's shaped like a wand, or, you know. Is it picking up? I'm not too sure. Oh, there we go. So here we go. And the tarot deck that we will be using in pile 3's reading is the Antique Anatomy Tarot. And finally, for pile number 4, we have Rhodonite. There we go. And we also have the Ethereal Visions Tarot. There we go. So these are the 4 piles that you get to choose from. You can go off of the gemstones, you can go off of the design of these cards, or the color schemes, or really anything that like jumps out at you. Just trust your intuition and see which pile you feel is pulling you in the most, or it seems like, you know, you really want to see what that pile has to say to you. Of course, if you have more than one pile that is calling your name, you know, go ahead and watch as many piles as you wish. But just generally, it tends to be the case that there is one specific pile that resonates for you the most, and then there may be some tidbits of information that is useful to you as well in some other piles, but most likely there is going to be one pile that stands out to you and that speaks to you. But of course, this is a general reading. This is not a personal reading. So always use your discernment and take these messages with a grain of salt. And if anything doesn't seem to fit, or you don't recognize anything that I'm speaking about, then don't try to force it into your current circumstances. Just let them go and only take with you the parts that truly do resonate with you and that you feel like you could actually get some use out of, you know. So yeah, that's it. I'm going to leave you here to choose, and whenever you are ready, you can go into the description box or the comment section down below to click on the timestamp that you need. So yeah, I'll see you in your reading. Hello, pile number 1, and welcome to your reading. So you chose this beautiful blue lace agate gemstone, which is just, it's really cute, and I really love the color. I mean, this is a stunning blue. But you already saw that from the intro if you chose this pile, so I'm not going to go over that again, but we are going to look at the field tarot a bit later, because first we need to get a glimpse of your energy, the energy around you, and your circumstances energy. So to look at your energy and the energy that is currently around you, we are going to use this Mage Arcana deck. And yeah, let's get a couple of cards to see what sort of energy you are dealing with and what sort of energy is around you. So can we please get a card for pile number 1's energy? What is pile number 1's current energy? Okay, we have the Hermit card, which almost came out in reverse. There are no reversals in this deck, I'm just saying. So, you know, if anything decides to come out reverse, then I'll take it, but otherwise I'm just gonna read them upright. So that's your energy, but let's look at the energy around you. What sort of energy is around pile number 1 at this time? What energy is around pile number 1 at this time? Okay. Guess these cards really like to spin. Ooh, and we have the Fool. Okay, interesting. So, and we have Strength at the bottom of the deck here, but we're just gonna let it be because we are focusing on these 2 cards here. So I'm just gonna show you the energy that you got. That is just, you know, describing your personal energy at this time is the Hermit. And the energy around you is the Fool. Is it focusing? There we go. This is a beautiful tarot deck, so yeah. Anyway, sorry. Now let's look at the already prepared oracle card portion of what sort of circumstances you are dealing with, and then we'll talk about all of these cards as well. So, okay, the first card that you got is number 17 with Miss Sunshine. 17 reduces down to 8 numerologically. Okay. Ooh, we also have number 8 again with the Journey, and I just have to point out this is my favorite deck, my favorite card in this oracle deck. Just saying, it is stunning. Okay. And then we have number 37, which reduces down to 10 with a Life Force. So this is cyclical energy from 10 to 1. We also have number 31 reducing down to 4 with Your Tribe, Your Vibe. And finally, we have, oh, that is interesting. We have number 22, like a bird. And 22 also can reduce down to number 4, even though this is a master number. So it's quite an interesting little numerological sequence that you have here. So we have 88144. Beautiful numbers there. But anyway, so pile number 1, let's dive into these cards. So starting off with your energy and the Hermit card. Now, first of all, the Hermit card in the Major Arcana is a card of Virgo, so that may be significant to you in some way. But if it isn't, just as an energy, the Hermit talks about spending time by yourself, with yourself, taking your energy out of the world, out of the external reality, and sort of just, you know, diving deep into yourself, trying to make sense of what you were, you know, what you were supposed to be doing, what it is that you want to put energy and focus into, who you truly are at your core, possibly even, you know, some other quite big answers to quite big questions. So this is basically like figuring out stuff on a fundamental level, you know, and it's very much a card of isolation and detachment from other people and from the world, and almost like this shutting down energy in a way as well. But it's so that you could be in that peaceful, quiet state, so that you could hear the messages that are within you, that you could get some sort of insight from, you know, your inner self, and figure out what it is that you feel called to do, or what you feel is your path, you know. So this is a very deeply introspective card that very often can be associated with like a dark night of the soul as well. Some people do sort of call it that as well. So in that sense, I am kind of getting, especially looking at the circumstances energy as well, that you may have gone through quite a difficult time, or it definitely hasn't been easy, because the Hermit energy is never an easy energy to get into, and it's very uncomfortable for a lot of people. But it's also extremely useful and helpful if you are willing to go into that deep dark tunnel and explore it and come out the other side with much more wisdom, much more clarity, and much more knowledge, which I feel like you have done or are currently doing, because we have some really, really like beautiful and exciting energy around you. I mean, especially with the Fool card, this is telling me that the energy around you is actually very much full of opportunity, full of enthusiasm, and full of like fresh new beginnings. So this is almost like, you know, if I had to assign some sort of seasons to these energies, this would be spring, and the Hermit would be winter. So this is that like hunkering down energy, whereas this is the energy of, you know, spreading your wings and flying, really, which, you know, which is what the Fool is doing here as well. So this is all about taking a plunge into the big unknown and just exploring something new, something unfamiliar, but something that feels exciting and something that you feel, you know, called to do as well. Because the Fool very, very much follows his instincts, follows what he feels that is the right thing to do, even if it doesn't make sense on a rational level. So in a sense, the Fool is very much a card of head versus heart, but the heart sort of, you know, taking over and ruling over the head. So I feel like there is actually a lot of like help and support around you, because with the Fool energy as well, it does seem like the people that you are surrounded by are very much wanting to offer you solutions, are very much wanting to sort of help you out of this this more like heavy or dense energy with the Hermit here, they may also feel like, you know, there has been some distance growing between yourself and them. And so it's just this very like eager energy to sort of to step in and do something. You know, the Fool doesn't sit around. The Fool doesn't just stand still and wait. Like the Hermit does. The Hermit is very much a standing still energy, but the Fool wants to take action. And so I do feel like there is a bit of a difference in where you are at with your energy at this time and where other people around you are at this time. So yeah, I mean, it's sweet and it's supportive and it's wanting to be helpful, but I'm not really sure that you are in a place at this time where you are able to sort of get on board with the Fool energy. Now, I'm not saying that that time is not coming, and I do feel like actually it is, looking at all of your surrounding circumstantial energy, or the energy that you are dealing with right now when you're within your situation. So I do feel like you will get there, but I do feel like for a lot of you, there is still a bit of discord between what you feel that you are capable of giving to others and the sort of energy that other people may be wanting to share with you and also get from you. So looking at the situation here, as I said, there is actually a lot of like positive energy, especially with both of these cards. We have this Miss Sunshine energy and we have this like a bird energy. And so this is telling me that, again, especially with this Miss Sunshine, you can see as well how, I'm just going to show it to you this way so you'll be able to see it better. You can see as well how like she's on top of this building, which at the bottom of it has some pretty dark energy, and there is also a moon in there as well. So again, it makes me feel and think of like this dark night of the soul that you have either gone through already or that you are currently passing through. So it is this energy of like trying to find light and sense and meaning in a bit of a dark haze. But with this like a bird energy, there is also this notion of finding a sense of direction and clarity with where it is that you want to go and finding the courage to actually go after it, you know? Having the sense of freedom to go and explore what you feel called to explore. Again, with the Fool energy. So I feel like the opportunity is there for you already. But it's just about, you know, you finding that sense of readiness in yourself as well. Now, with these two cards here, with this Life Force and your tribe, your vibe, I do get a sense that there may be a big focus on where you feel that you belong or what your place is in the world. So again, we are getting back to these pretty big questions and pretty big answers that you are seeking. Because I do feel like the sort of the systems or the patterns and the routines that you have held on to up until now, they aren't really doing it for you anymore, right? We have this journey energy here too, which is all about the process of movement, right? On, you know, being on track and moving towards a certain destination. But it's not about the destination, it's about the journey and all the experiences that you get while you are on this journey. So this is, again, actually one of those more like bigger themed oracle cards, which is talking about, as I said, all of the experiences that you gain along the way of arriving at where you are meant to arrive at. So I love the energy around you. I love that there are, you know, so many opportunities and possibilities for you to actually go out there, start exploring, start seeing what is possible, starting to, start gaining more experiences as well, finding that life force again, finding the sense of fulfillment and excitement and joy and enthusiasm, and just seeing what calls out to you, right? Following that voice boldly and fearlessly. So everything is already there for you, but it's just about you now sort of feeling prepared and willing to step into that energy as well. And I also feel like right now there could be a time where you have sort of, where you have purged your friend group, your networks, that type of thing, because with the full energy there is a lot of freshness, newness, but then there is also this this newness within your surrounding energies in these oracle cards as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of you have let go of some people, or you have experienced some changes within your friend groups, your networks, your surroundings. Maybe for some of you it hasn't been, something that you yourself have necessarily wanted. Maybe some people have just left your life, or, some friendships or some relationships have dissolved in the recent past. But I do feel like, again, this is all in the name of, you finding your true place and true fulfillment. So, yeah, interesting energy, pile number one, honestly. And I do really love that for you, because it feels very, very positive. But let's now look at what will lead you to success with the Field Tarot. So the deck is already shuffled and prepared, but I'm just getting it ready for the cards here. So okay, and oh, nice. At the bottom of the deck, we have the Nine of Cups with fulfillment. Okay, so we have the Eight of Cups reversed, the Four of Cups, the Two of Cups reversed, the Ace of Cups, oh my God, all Cups cards, the Three of Swords reversed, the Empress reversed, and the Four of Coins, or the Four of Discs reversed. Okay, pile number one. So let's go through all of these cards one by one. Now, first I want to address the underlying energy of the Nine of Cups with fulfillment. Because as I was describing with the cards that came out previously, we were all about, or they were all about, you finding your sort of true north, you finding what it is that truly lights you up and your place in the world and all of those things, right? So fulfillment is clearly the most important keyword here, especially when we're talking about the Nine of Cups, which is like this individual fulfillment, or finding a sense of sort of personal joy that isn't necessarily attached to like a shared form of joy that we see in the Ten of Cups. Now, the other interesting thing that I noticed here is that the first half of the reading is pretty much all Cups energy. So this whole energy is very, very deeply imbued by relationships and emotional energy in general. So clearly that is at the forefront of what you are dealing with right now, and what it is that you are trying to find sense and clarity in. Because starting first with the Eight of Cups in reverse, this is talking about your past energy. And I'm just going to show you upright as well. The Eight of Cups is an energy of walking away from something that isn't emotionally fulfilling anymore. So when it comes out in reverse, this is that sort of energy of like realizing it, but having trouble actually taking the steps to do it. So it very much sort of follows the Hermit energy as well, which, you know, as we were saying before, as we were talking about, the Hermit is an energy of stillness, of non-movement, and of just this like spiritual reflection and isolation, so that you could get that sort of clarity. But it's not a card of taking action necessarily. So this is very much just sort of realizing that something is missing, but not starting to necessarily do something about it yet. The Ace of Cups could also be an energy of sort of feeling like your needs are not being met, or feeling like your emotions or feelings are not even valued or acknowledged. And so that is what sort of brings about this need to figure out what it is that is actually happening inside of you. And that is very much being described by this Four of Cups energy in your present energy. So again, it's all sort of aligning with the energies that we have been talking about. So this is clearly your personal energy at this time, which is sort of overruling everything else. And it's the most dominant in this reading. Because the Four of Cups, as you can even see the keyword here says as well, it's saying meditation on the card. And the Four of Cups is very much, again, an energy of being a bit aloof or being a bit distant and pulling your energy back into yourself, not really wanting to deal with the outside world, not really wanting to participate, share your energy, or even receive energy from the outside world. So this is very much like a pulling in a space that you seem to be in right now, again, for the sake of making sense of your feelings and making sense of your emotions and what it is that you ultimately want that would bring you the most sense or the biggest sense of fulfillment and happiness. Now, even though I said previously that for some of you there have most likely already been some like changes or some purging in your relationships, in your friendships or groups or networks, I do feel like for some of you that step may still be sort of in the cards because, or something, you know, that is still coming because of this Two of Cups reversed over here. Now, the Two of Cups is a card of union, again, as the card says, or the keyword on the card says here. But it doesn't necessarily have to be like a romantic union. It's just a connection between two people, two like-minded people who share some sort of energetic bond between them. And so, as I said, with the Hermit energy, for some of you who have just been doing this, considering this soul searching, this introspection, but that you haven't necessarily taken any drastic steps in, you know, making some more radical changes and finding the place where you truly belong. For some of you, I definitely feel like this is talking about, you know, you in the near future taking these steps to really, you know, separate yourself from someone or something that doesn't really speak to you. This is very much talking about relationships, as I said, but the relationships could be taking place in your job or, you know, in your sort of hobby group or whatever as well. So just take it as it resonates. But clearly this is some sort of relationship or connection. Again, doesn't have to be romantic, that at one point has meant a lot to you or that you have really valued. But it does seem like, you know, in the very near future, within the next 3 months or so, there could be some like very concrete steps that you take or that, you know, you decide to do because of not really feeling valued or not really feeling equal anymore. That's what the Two of Cups can also suggest, that there isn't really an equal partnership here, that someone is gaining more than the other, or that someone is not really putting energy and effort into the relationship quite as much as the other person is. So there is this like a sense of imbalance in investing in the relationship or being invested in the relationship. But for those of you who are not really resonating with, separating yourself from some people around you or from some sort of group, this could also just indicate that there is a bit of a dissolving energy of, how can I say it? Of yourself, because the Two of Cups can also indicate the sort of the connection that exists within yourself, you and your higher self, or you and your spiritual self, or your physical body and your spirit self, however you want to name it or call it. But this can be a bit of a disconnect between who you thought you were before and who you feel that you are now. So there could be a sort of a breaking apart energy in that sense as well, where you go through this inner transformation. And so as a result of that, you sort of come out of the situation wanting different things. But more strongly, I do feel like this Two of Cups is talking about a connection with you and someone else or other people. Now, also, what is interesting is that the surrounding energies, again, looking at energies around you, we have the Three of Swords coming out reversed. This card says sorrow on it. So, and obviously if this isn't your first tarot card reading and you are familiar with tarot cards, the Three of Swords is not generally a very positive card, or people are not very excited to see it. But in this instance, I actually do feel like this is just a card of speaking of not really wanting to acknowledge the truth. And so this is actually a very interesting combo when it is considered with the Fool energy that, we were describing before as the energy surrounding you. This could indicate as well that the people around you are somewhat oblivious, or they are not wanting to accept the new you, or not wanting to accept what it is that you need at this time and the sort of changes that you are going through. So there is almost this with the Fool, there could be a sense of being almost dismissive or ignorant regarding what is actually happening and the reality of the situation, or the reality of the relationship and the changes that the relationship is going through as well. And just sort of wanting to almost pretend that nothing has happened, or wanting to pretend that everything is okay, wanting to maybe not even pretend, but just wanting to believe that everything is okay, because the Fool is, it is a bit of a naive energy as well. It's a bit of an immature energy as well. So it could be sort of, indicative of this wishful thinking that may be around you, or just wanting to have a fresh start without necessarily acknowledging or dealing with what is wrong or what has led to the situation in the first place. So this to me just feels like dismissive energy and not really wanting to deal with the painful reality of the situation, that the relationship between you and someone else or a group of people has changed or is changing, and most likely is, transforming on a bigger scale. Because we also have the Empress card coming out in reverse as the sort of attitudes. And these are, again, talking about your attitudes towards this situation. So with the Empress here, I'm just going to, again, show it to you upright. With the Empress here, this is a card of the planet Venus. So that's why it is associated with the signs Taurus and Libra. But I'm again just pointing out the signs as they come, so that maybe they mean something to you. But with the Empress coming out in reverse, I do feel like your attitude is somewhat tired or exhausted or drained as well, because the Empress is very much a card of being the nurturer, being the one who is responsible for things sort of blooming and growing and being prosperous and abundant. And so this feels to me like you have very much been in that role in this relationship or in this group dynamic where, you are the one who has invested a lot, right? Again, we have this sense of not really feeling an equal partnership here, or not really feeling like the effort is balanced. So I do feel like you have been the one who is putting a lot of energy and effort into it, but realizing that maybe you are not really getting anything back, that, you know, the garden is not as blossoming and fruitful as maybe, you know, the other person believes it to be, right, with the Fool, because there is a certain sense of like ignorance here. So I just feel like this is you sort of feeling like you don't really want to give to this relationship anymore. You don't really want to invest in this anymore because there is nothing left to give, you know, because you have given so much already and it's not really going in the direction that you were wanting it to, or you're not really seeing the results that you're wanting to see. And so I feel this sense of like disheartening energy or disheartening feelings, which is again very much, you know, making sense when we are considering the Hermit energy, right? This dark night of the soul thing, where you are recognizing that things are not exactly the way that you want them to be. And so we come to the outcome energy, and we have the, I'm just going to show you upwards, the upwards card. We have the Four of Discs, or the Four of Coins or Pentacles, which says stability on this card here. But as you got it in reverse, I do feel like, you know, Spirit is wanting you to be prepared for a bit of turbulence, because obviously there is a sense of stability that is going to be broken down, or that is going to be changed. And I don't want you to be, you know, alarmed in this sense, because it's not like the Tower card, right? It's not going to take you by surprise, and it's not going to completely, you know, derail you or something like that. At least that's not what I'm feeling with the Four of Coins here. It's just an energy of, you know, having to let go of a sense of like comfort, or a sense of stability that you are used to, something that has been in place for quite a long time. And even though, yes, I mean, most likely change is uncomfortable, it's not pleasant, it's not something that every one of us always welcomes with open arms. But I do feel like that's where your life force, or that's where this sort of spark for joy and rejuvenation is going to come from as well, from this change, from, you know, releasing whatever this situation or relationship is that isn't necessarily, you know, feeding your soul anymore. And so there is going to be a change in your stability for sure. But as a final card, we have the answer to the question, right? We asked what will lead you to success, and we got the Ace of Cups reversed, which says love on the card over here. But as you got the card in reverse, I do feel like this is saying that, you know, this is a time of really like focusing on your own emotional fulfillment first and foremost, before, you know, wanting to share it to someone else. And with the Empress in reverse, I definitely feel like you are in a place where you are not really capable or able to do that anyway, right? Because we have the underlying energy, the focus of this reading is fulfillment, and it is your personal fulfillment. So, you know, especially if you have sacrificed some of your dreams or some of your aspirations or some of your wishes for this relationship or for this other person, then I feel like at this time there is this energy of, you know, you finding out what you really want to do, where you want to accomplish certain things, or where you want to self-actualize, right? Where true satisfaction would come for you, and where other people would also sort of support you and fulfill you with energy as well, rather than just taking your energy, which is what I feel like this relationship or the situation has very much done up until now. But I do want to clarify one point. I do want to look at this Ace of Cups in reverse. I just want to see if we can get any more information about it. Although I do feel like mostly this reading is super, super clear. So there isn't really that much to add to it. Because this just feels like a sort of a personal transformation journey for you, which is going to, at the end of it, lead to you making some pretty like foundational changes, most likely in your relationships. So that part is fairly clear, you know, you finding personal fulfillment. But I do want to look at this Ace of Cups reversed. Can we please get clarifiers for the Ace of Cups reversed? Oh, beautiful. Okay, and the Six of Cups is coming out in reverse at the bottom of the deck here, which is furthermore indicating that, you know, some sort of relationship is not really doing it for you anymore. That is most likely, or has been in your life for a very long time. Yeah, so we have the Two of Wands. We have the Nine of Wands. If it would focus, there we go. And we have the Queen of Cups, which is a card of Cancer, but can talk about any water sign. So Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. But just looking at these cards, clarifying the Ace of Cups in reverse here, I do feel like Spirit is saying that, you know, this is the perfect time for you to, again, as we were talking about before, explore new horizons, right? See what is out there and step out of your comfort zone. As you can see as well, there is one wand that is securely attached to this wall or this castle that he's standing in, which is, you know, it's representing the aspect of safety, you know, him being safe and established in this castle, and looking out onto the sort of the new land or the new expanse. There is this new one that is a possibility. And so there is this sense of like exploring and looking out into what is possible. But with both of these cards here, I do very much feel like, again, we have this beautifully, you know, beautifully decorated cup over here that the Queen of Cups is holding on to and looking after, really taking care of it. And so I do feel like this again is talking about, you know, the sort of the love that you have for yourself and the care that you have for yourself, and really protecting it, really protecting your energy, and sort of, you know, taking the time to reflect and really carefully consider where it is that you want to put your energy into in the future, and sort of reflecting on what you have invested your energy into previously and what it has brought about for you, what sort of results it has you know, brought about. So yeah, this is a very much, again, like a reflective, or just an energy of like planning and taking very good care of yourself and of your energy and of your affection, especially because we have this huge Cups card, Cups energy here. So yeah, you know, this seems to be at the forefront for you. This seems to be the most important thing, which obviously you are doing at this time as well with the Hermit card, or, you know, you have been doing. So you seem to be very much on track. And I mean, again, the surrounding energies are very much like supportive of this and are ready for you when you finally come out of that dark tunnel and you find this new spark of joy and this new enthusiasm to go and explore. I feel like, you know, your circumstances are very much supportive of that. But it's just about becoming ready, feeling ready to take these steps, and then, you know, going after what it is that you want to go after. But let's now close the reading out with some oracle cards as well, just to give you some advice. So what sort of advice do you have for pile number 1 regarding their reading? What advice do you have for pile number 1 regarding their reading? thank you. Oh my god, I love it. At the bottom of the deck we have changes, so yeah, clearly that is the most important thing, and that is something to you know, really cherish and appreciate, because these changes are happening for the better of you, or for, you know, for the best. Anyway, we have number 51, which reduces down to 6, and it says, ambush fear with your ferocious dream. See? Yeah, the universe is very clearly encouraging you to focus on your dream life, and again, your ultimate fulfillment, and sort of following that without any fear. We also have number 57, which reduces down to 12, which further reduces down to 3. And this says rise, with this like bird-like symbol here as well, or, you know, opening up your wings, that type of thing. So clearly this whole reading is about, you know, wanting you to really follow your dreams and let yourself shine and let yourself step forward. Because I do feel like there has been an energy of, you know, you being in the sidelines, or you playing the supportive role to someone else's story, when in truth, I feel like you have so much to give and so much to experience. The final card we have is number 15, reducing down to 6, with the distraction of shiny things. And I do feel like this person or this relationship has been a distraction for you. Not in like a, you know, judgmental or anything like that type of way. And I don't even want to, like, you know, I don't want it to sound dismissive or something either, because clearly this relationship was meant to be in your life so that you could receive the necessary lessons and necessary experiences through that as well. But I don't feel like this is meant to be in your life, or this is meant to be a sort of a bigger part of your story and journey, and hence all of this change energy. So yeah, I feel like your reading, pile number 1, was really, really very clear and very focused. So, you know, if this was your story, obviously I'm pretty sure that you recognized it, and hopefully this gave you a sense of, again, like motivation or encouragement to keep going, especially if you are in this dark tunnel of the hermit. If you are struggling, if you are going through more of these like heavy or difficult energies of, you know, not being sure, not being very safe, and not knowing what it is that you are supposed to do, what the right thing to do is, all of that. If you are really tackling all of these big issues and big questions right now, then I'm sending you a lot of love and a lot of support. And, you know, just again, focusing on this reading, just wanting to remind you that there is going to be an end to that. And there is a lot of beautiful, positive, radiant energy waiting for you on the other side. So I hope that this reading spoke to you, and if it did, I would really appreciate your support through a thumbs up, or, you know, subscribing to this channel, or letting me know that you watched this reading and that it resonated. But other than that, if I don't see you in any of the other piles, please take care of yourselves, and I am wishing you all the best. Take care. Bye-bye. Hello, pile number 2, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the most likely Pyrite stone, and also the Darkness of Light tarot. But we are going to look at those a bit later, because first we're going to focus on some oracle cards. These are already prepared for you. And also we are going to look at some major Arcana cards from this beautiful, beautiful new tarot deck that I was just so excited to use in this reading. So the way that we are going to start off with first is your energy, your personal energy that is, and the energy that is around you. So the energy of the people that are surrounding you, that's what I mean, that's the focus. And then with these oracle cards, we're going to get a glimpse of what sort of situation or circumstances you are dealing with at this time that are the most important. So let's start with your energy first. Let's see. Can you please describe pile number 2's energy? What is pile number 2's energy at this time? Can you please describe pile number 2's energy? Oh, okay. We have Temperance. And can you please describe the energy that is around pile number 2? What kind of energy is around pile number 2? Okay, thank you. We have Justice. Okay, and just to see what is at the bottom of the deck, we have Judgment. Not really too relevant, but I just wanted to show you because these cards are so gorgeous. Yep, there we go. So anyway, just showing you quickly the cards more closely, and then we'll move on to the oracle cards. So this is your energy. And this is the energy around you. There we go. Okay. And now let's look at the oracle cards that you got, which are talking about the situation that you are dealing with. So we have number 31 reducing down to 4 with Lorelei. There we go. We also have number 28 reducing down to 10, further reducing down to 1. This is cyclical energy with perfect moments. We also have number 30 with meditation and prayer. We also have number 5 with boss up. And finally, we have number 4 again with moon dance. So there we go. So pile number 2, I do admit I had to sit with your cards for quite a while with just the camera shut off because I had to try and sift through these energies and make sense of them, because there is quite a bit of like haziness here that I feel like. But let's go through the cards in order. So first, starting off with your energy, which is described by Temperance. Temperance is a card of Sagittarius, and I'm just pointing out the zodiacal signs in case they mean something to you. Maybe you resonate with them, maybe you recognize them around you, you know, however. But this card is telling me that you seem to be in an energy of sort of trying to find peace and equilibrium and trying to sort of, I heard the term transmute the pain. Now, you know, it may sound a bit dramatic, and I'm sure that it isn't quite as dramatic for all of you watching, but it does seem like you are trying to change a situation that you are in right now and sort of trying to very much maintain some sort of balance and centeredness and peace in a rather like turbulent and harsh environment. Or again, I don't know why I keep thinking of these like rather drastic words, but I don't know, they just seem to be sort of cropping up. But the main energy here with Temperance is that there seems to be an energy of healing that you are in right now, of trying to sort of do the right thing or trying to find something positive, something joyful in situations where maybe it isn't that easy to find. Because we also have the Justice card here, which is describing your surrounding energies, or, you know, the energy around you. And this is a card of Libra. Now, Justice is a very concrete and very harsh energy. It can be positive when it is working in your favor, but it can also be quite brutal as well when it isn't working in your favor. But just generally, this card is all about actions and their consequences. So considering that it is talking about the energies around you, it could be that, you know, you are experiencing some sort of results or consequences of previous actions that again could be good or bad, or maybe both. You know, some of them could be really positive, but others of them could be a bit more difficult to deal with. But it just feels like there are some pretty like harsh realities that you are dealing with right now. And so there is this very almost like funny contrast that I see here with this more spiritual energy with the Temperance card, you know, trying to be in that spiritual place and sort of see things from a higher perspective, rise above the fray and sort of not let yourself be too consumed by what is happening, and not let yourself get, you know, swept up in all of the drama possibly, versus the Justice card, which is, you know, very much like shit hitting the fan or things going down around you, you know. And so this also feels like whatever sort of actions or things that you are doing right now also are very, very serious, or, you know, should be considered seriously because of the consequences that they can bring. So it just feels like at this time you are in a space where you seem to be focusing on like what the right thing is anyway, but I feel like the energy around you is very much conducive to that as well, you know, like pushing you into this energy of needing to, you know, be responsible for what you say and what you do, and possibly even like stand up for what you believe in, or just sort of having to be very, very aware of what sort of effects your actions or words can bring, you know, this whole correlation of cause and effect, right, with the Justice card. So there is this sense of like almost like walking the tightrope, which is very interesting because that's exactly what is happening on this Moon Dance card. And so, you know, moving sort of smoothly onto the situation that you are dealing with, or the energy of your circumstances, I do feel like that there is quite a big sort of seesaw energy between things that you need to sort of deal with and things that you need to participate in, you know, where you need to be very mindful of your power and, again, the consequences of your actions, because they could be quite substantial, you know, especially with both of these cards here, with the Lorelei and this Boss Up energy. You know, both of these cards are talking of power, of having a certain type of like sway to how things are going to go, you know, whether things are going to work out or whether, you know, things are going to go in a slightly different way. It's in your power to decide. And so I do feel like there is quite a lot of responsibility here as well. You may feel heavily, you know, burdened by a sense of responsibility. And so it could be that there is quite a lot of pressure that you are dealing with. And so that is why this sort of spiritual energy is coming to the forefront, where you may be trying to find, as I said, like refuge or some sort of thing to like take you out of it or help you combat what sort of like more difficult energies are propping up in your external circumstances or you know, maybe even in your own head, right? This could go both ways. But I do feel like all of these cards here are speaking of exactly that sort of, you know, trying to find refuge, trying to find little pockets of peace of mind and equilibrium and happiness and just contentment, where things are not difficult, where things are not heavy, or where things are not as serious, right? Especially with this like perfect moments, this with the meditation card, you know, feels like you could be trying to find ways to connect with like a higher energy, or a deeper sense of like peace, or again finding that place where you feel centered, where you feel grounded, where you just feel like happy, or where you don't have to deal with things that otherwise stress you out, or, you know, burden you in some way. And with this moon dance card here too, again, this is just like sort of, you know, staying above everything that is happening, and trying to have a light-hearted approach, even when you are very much aware of the realities that are going around, or that are happening around you, and that you need to deal with. So, as I said, this is very interesting energy, pile number 2. So I'm very excited to see what comes out in the tarot portion, which we are going to move on to now. So let's see. Oh, sorry. Trying to fit all of those cards in the camera here too. So let's see what sort of energy or what information we can get from the tarot portion. These cards are already shuffled and prepared, but I am going to shuffle them a bit more just to, you know, get the right feeling out. So let's focus on what will lead you to success. What will lead pile number 2 to success? Let's look at that. Okay, interesting. And at the bottom of the deck, we have the Page of Coins coming out in reverse. Is it focusing? Not really. Okay, so let's just leave it at that. So we have the Queen of Coins. We have the 10 of Coins. Oops. We have the 9 of Cups. We have the 5 of Wands. We have the 6 of Blades, or the 6 of Swords. We have the 8 of Wands. And finally, we have the 9 of Blades, or the 9 of Swords in reverse. So, yeah. Okay, pile number 2. So let's dive into these cards, because this is very exciting. So I actually want to start off with the underlying energy here, which is the Page of Coins reversed. I don't know. Yeah, see, it's focusing now, so it's all good. I'm going to show it to you upright as well. So the Page of Coins is making me feel of, like, because it came out in reverse, right? It's making me feel like there is almost this need to step out of the material physical world a bit, because I feel like there has been too much attention placed on the material realm. And so I'm not really surprised that the Temperance card is, you know, describing your energy right now. That you are sort of trying to balance it out, or trying to find a bigger meaning behind this sort of physical existence, and almost this feeling of like being a bit overwhelmed or not having the energy to deal with stuff, you know. So yeah, for some reason this Page of Coins is making me think of very like tired or exhausted energy, almost like being so depleted of energy reserves, you know, that there is this inescapable pull towards just taking some time out, you know, switching off from the material outside world. And it does seem like you have been very much invested in the physical material world and putting a lot of energy and effort into it, nurturing some projects, nurturing your relationships, making sure that, you know, your dreams, your goals, your aspirations are fully on track to becoming true. This is a Capricorn energy, the Queen of Coins, and I do feel like this is talking about your energy, even though, you know, you don't have to be female in order to have the Queen of Coins energy. This is just feminine in nature, but it doesn't specify gender necessarily. So yeah, it just feels to me that it feels to me like you have been very much in this Queen of Coins energy in the past, this Capricornian, ambitious, driven, wanting to stay on top of things, wanting to, you know, have control over things and make sure that everything is running smoothly and taking care of everything. Maybe even to the point where you are not asking for help, you know, where you have tried to do everything on your own and make sure that everything is in like tip-top shape. And maybe in the process of it, you know, because again, we are dealing with coins, we are dealing with pentacles. This is earth energy, this is practical, this is physical, this is material. You know, it could very well be that as it has been the focus, there hasn't been that much energy on, like, you know, self-care and self-preservation and all of those types of things. So yeah, this is just very much this staying on top of things energy, which has clearly led you to success, because the current energy is being described by the 10 of Coins. Now, the 10 of Coins is a card of like wealth or abundance, as the most sort of preliminary or basic meaning. I'm not sure whether preliminary is the right word to use, but anyway, the most basic meaning is like wealth and abundance. But in a broader, like more general level, this is a card of safety and security, you know, having a steady source of income, having a steady life pretty much, you know, especially when it comes to your home or your finances and your sort of future prospects as well. So it clearly seems to me that the decisions and actions that you have made in the past have led you to certain results now. And even though, as I said, with this boss up energy and this Lorelei energy, that it seems like you are in a place where you have quite a lot of power, quite a lot of significance and sway, there could also be some sort of, you know, burdens that go along with it, some responsibilities. And again, those responsibilities might be the things that are actually like weighing you down as well. So it is that like two sides of a coin type of situation here. But generally, it does seem like you have done very well for yourself, especially again, because we are talking about like pentacles, coins. This is making me think of career and financial or material things. But of course, you know, take it as it resonates. This could also just speak about, you know, your family or the way that you have set up your lifestyle or something like that. But it does feel like there is a financial component in there as well. But again, it's very, very material. There isn't that much focus on like spiritual fulfillment, right? That emotional fulfillment. This is just this practical, pragmatic security that you get from making wise investments or being very good with money, or just, you know, your spendings and your income and all of that type of thing. You know, again, this Queen of Coins energy of staying on top of stuff. Now, moving on to the near future energy, though, we have the Nine of Cups. So that's interesting, because as we were just seeing, the whole focus so far has been very much on the physical material aspect of stuff. Whereas in the near future, it seems like the focus will move towards finding the sense of emotional fulfillment that would not just, you know, not just take care of the material and the practical aspects of life, but that would also nourish your soul in the process, right? Where you could have a sense of fulfillment and security within yourself. And so again, it's a very much tying back to this temperance energy of finding like something bigger, something higher, something more divine, you know, something out of yourself, if that makes sense. So it does seem like there is this as I said, this like, I don't know whether I said it, but there is this like seesaw energy between like the realistic material practical stuff and the spiritual stuff that seems to be sort of cropping up and that you want to, or that you need to pay attention to as well. And so it seems like there is in the near future something that is going to bring you a lot of like spiritual or emotional fulfillment. So you may get like a certain type of wish fulfillment here, especially with the with this Nine of Cups energy, because it is a very, very positive card. So that is making me think, especially with, you know, justice being here too, even though this does feel like there is quite a lot of like seriousness that you are dealing with, I do feel like there is also that, as I said, it's like some of it could be positive as well as like the more serious stuff. And so it does seem like, you know, there are going to be some consequences or some results of your decisions and actions that are going to be coming about in the next 3 months or so, that are going to make you very, very happy. You know, that are going to bring you something that you have been looking for or waiting for. And so, yeah, I really love this Nine of Cups energy for you, because it's just so sort of needed. I almost feel like it's just so needed. But let's move on. We also have this Six of Blades, or the Six of Swords energy. And this is speaking of the energy that is surrounding you. So in a way, it is also tying in with the Justice energy. And the Six of Swords is all about transitioning. It's all about movement, and it's all about taking steps to find harmony, right? So there is this connection of like balance or harmony between these two cards too. But the Six of Swords is, even though yes, it is a positive card, it's a card of, you know, moving towards something that that would offer more peace of mind, that would bring more like stability in a sense. But the Six of Swords is not an easy energy, because it means that something has to be left behind. And even though this, whatever this is that has to be left behind, is most likely the cause of a lot of stress and a lot of anxiety, or a lot of like strife and conflict and that type of thing too, it still means that a certain change has to be made in order to go through that transition, right? So inherently there is a decision embedded here where, you know, very concrete action needs to be taken, and whatever sort of action is taken, it means that something else is sort of being cut out, or, you know, there is a definitive sort of energy here that I feel like. I hope that it wasn't too confusing what I just said. But for some reason, yeah, I feel with the Six of Swords in your surrounding energies that there is a certain movement that is happening, or certain changes that are taking place that you may not necessarily have too much control over, and that are actually supporting your growth and supporting your development and taking you where you ultimately need to go and want to go. but there are like some sacrifices that need to be made in the process. So something is going to be changed as a result, you know, something is altered as a result of this change or these consequences, even though these are good consequences. But, you know, anyway, I think I made my point, you know, so hopefully the message came across. But we also have this Eight of Wands card, which is talking about your attitude. Actually, let me cover this up because I don't know about these new rules or regulations in YouTube. Anyway, I don't know, just, you know, just in case. The Eight of Wands, which is talking about your attitude toward this whole situation, is telling me that you are extremely focused and you are very much determined to sort of get your way or to see a certain result come about. So it's almost like you are very sure of what you need to do and what you want to do. And I don't feel like there is that much hesitation or that much fear surrounding it, but it just seems to be like very busy and very hectic as well, because the Eight of Wands is a very fast moving energy. It's very much focusing on certain results and getting there as quickly as possible. So, you know, even though this is a good thing, you know, you having your sight set on something and very much being focused on bringing about the results that you want, there is an energy of like maybe getting sort of lost in the rush as well, or just in the chaos of things. So again, it sort of makes sense that you are getting these cards of like meditation and sort of taking time to value the perfect moments or the little pockets of time or joy that you have just for yourself, and that you can really, you know, connect with something bigger or something that brings you a sense of a deeper satisfaction almost. And I also feel with this Eight of Wands that you are not allowing yourself to get swayed by the things that are happening around you. Again, it seems that you are like very, very much trying to, again, like stay above it or not let yourself, you know, get lost in whatever is happening. And it seems to be the right thing to do as well, because with the Nine of Blades or the Nine of Swords coming out reversed as your outcome energy to the situation, it tells me that this stress and this anxiety that you may be dealing with right now as a result of this more serious energy with the Justice card as well, and everything that you are sort of trying to make your way through, it seems that it's going to, you know, come out successfully, or you are going to be coming out of this situation successfully, and these fears and anxieties or this stress that you are dealing with right now is going to be subduing. Sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied. So you are going to be breaking out of this mentally tormenting or mentally challenging energy, and finding a bit of a peace of mind, I feel like. And that seems to be ultimately what you are after as well. So especially with the Nine of Cups here in your near future, this just feels to me like really, really positive energy. But as the answer to the question, right, because we asked the question, what will lead you to success? The card that you got is the Five of Wands. And so this is telling me that ultimately what will lead you to success, what will lead you to where you want to go, is standing up for what you believe in, being very vocal about what you think is the right thing to do and what you ultimately believe would be the best solution for everyone involved or the whole situation, you know, because there is this broader aspect that is very much in play with this Temperance card, you know, not just focusing on yourself, but also, you know, considering the situation from all different aspects and how it impacts everyone, you know, on a broader scale. So there is this bigger vision that you seem to be focusing on. And again, with this Justice energy, it's clear that it is very important to consider what the right thing to do is. And with the Five of Wands, even though, you know, you could face some resistance, or you could face some opposition, or people not really seeing where you're coming from, or they are not necessarily supporting you, or giving you the sort of help that you want, or again, encouragement or validation that you may be looking for, yearning for, even though, you know, it may not necessarily come in the form that you are wanting it to, because the Five of Wands is a bit of a conflicting energy as well. You know, people sort of, what's the expression? You know, batting heads, or, you know, sort of clashing in energy, because everyone is seeing things in a different way, and they are wanting their viewpoint to sort of be the one that is heard or validated the most. So even though that energy is present here, I do feel like if you are very vocal and if you are very firm in making yourself sort of stand out from the crowd, I do feel like that is the thing that is ultimately going to, you know, bring you what it is that you want, bring you desirable results. And so it almost makes me feel like there is this need to be almost somewhat like selfish to get the result that is ultimately best for everyone involved, with this Temperance, right? So yeah, just making sure that your voice is heard and that people acknowledge what it is that you are trying to get across. Let me see if there is anything that I want to clarify before we move on to the final advice. Maybe just the Six of Blades. In your surrounding energy, that is most likely the only one that I want to see what else we can find out about it, because it has a very like dualistic energy about it, I feel. So Six of Blades, could you please clarify the Six of Blades in the surrounding energies for pile number 2? Oh, interesting. Okay. We have the Four of Cups that came out. If it would focus again. So I just want to see what is at the bottom of the deck here. Oh, interesting. And we have the Ten of Swords. So a lot of swords energy, which makes me think that there is a heavy emphasis on communication and ideas and opinions. You know, that is somehow very much at the forefront of the energy that you are dealing with. You know, there could be a lot of other people's opinions and beliefs and things that you sort of have to deal with as well. Maybe there is like a bigger team or a bigger group of people that you are either responsible for or that you need to work with. But yeah, it just feels like with the surrounding energies here, it seems like something is not necessarily to your liking, or it's not really, you know, speaking to you the way that it is being presented, or something that is being proposed. It seems like, yeah, it seems like it's not really doing anything for you, or you would much rather go a different way. And so again, it just feels like there is some sort of, as I said, like sacrifice that needs to be made, or something has to be let go of, something has to be given up so that progress could be made in the direction that would bring, again, the best results for everyone. Yeah, I know I said I didn't want to clarify anything other than that, but I am actually kind of excited about this Nine of Cups as well in your near future energy. So I want to see what this like wish fulfillment is, or what this emotional fulfillment is regarding. So let's see if we can get some more information about the Nine of Cups in the near future. Can you please clarify? The Nine of Cups. Oh, interesting. Okay, we have the Magician in reverse, which is a card of Mercury. So it is associated with Virgo and Gemini. Again, like this mercurial energy is very much bringing me back to this whole notion of, you know, communication being very important, or negotiations, or sort of, you know, thoughts and opinions and concepts and viewpoints, perspectives, that type of thing, somehow very much ruling this whole situation. Because that's what decisions are ultimately based on, right? What seems to be, or what is perceived to be the right thing, what people think is the right thing to do. Underneath the deck, we have the Eight of Coins, and interestingly enough, behind that we have the Eight of Cups, and behind that we have the Ten of Coins. So with the Eight of Cups here too, this is very much telling me that, you know, there is a sense of needing to go after this ninth cup. That is ultimately what the Eight of Cups person is doing, right? Because there is something missing here, something that, you know, they might not necessarily know what is missing, but they just feel that something is missing, and so they know that they need to change their current circumstances. And so in a sense, they are leaving this safety behind, the safety of the ten of coins, something that is well established, something that is secure, and something that they know very well. But they just, you know, they know that there is something that needs to be sought after. And so with the Magician in reverse here, it almost feels like this wish fulfillment is coming in a form where you don't have to be in charge with the Magician in reverse. I don't know why I feel that. It's kind of funny, but I don't think I've ever seen the Magician reversed in that sense. But it just seems like there is this energy here of being able to like relax and being able to put the sense of responsibility down and just you know, not have all the answers, not be the one to constantly have to solve problems or situations or be the one in charge of things, right? Stepping out of that role and just sort of taking things easy and letting things sort of flow and letting things happen the way that they want to happen, rather than you constantly trying to affect how things are going, or you know, needing to do something in order to bring about a desired result. So it seems like there is a bit of a refuge that you are finding in the next 3 months or so, in the upcoming months. So there is this bit of relief that I feel like is going to come about. Or possibly the Magician reverse could also be talking about sort of finding peace elsewhere, outside of all of the things that you have already accomplished and that you have been working towards very, very diligently, right? This Queen of Coins energy and this Ten of Coins energy, you know, taking some time out from these worldly matters, of trying to like make things happen, and just focusing on, as I said, the emotional aspects more, getting sort of that into the picture there as well. So yeah, that is interesting. I have to say, pile number 2, that is very interesting. Yeah, I don't know who you are exactly, but it does seem like you are a very important person. That's the energy that I'm picking up on here. And obviously you could really use some time out to relax and possibly even, you know, like go on a vacation or on holiday or something like that. But let's see what sort of advice we can get for you from Spirit before we close this reading out. So what sort of advice do you have for pile number 2 regarding their reading? Thank you. Okay, interesting. At the bottom of the deck we have Rise, and this came out for another pile as well. Yeah, so this is clearly a calling to sort of step up and again, you know, rise above the fray, as I said previously. But let's see what else we have. We have Creator Water. So this is just the water element coming through here. And this is basically urging you to act with integrity and act with like emotional investment as well. You know, not to disregard what it is that you are feeling or what your intuition is telling you, what sort of like possible dreams or psychic messages you may be having, what sort of like little inner prompts like that could be directing you to something important or something valuable. You know, and just in general, it's asking you not to neglect the things that you are feeling, and really focusing on whether your emotional needs are fully met. You know, not casting those aside because of everything else that needs to be dealt with or taken care of, right? These more rational and practical matters, which of course are important, but again, so is your sense of, you know, fulfillment and just being happy with your life and having a deeper purpose. And finally, we also have bliss is worth creating from. Exactly. So acting from a place of emotional fulfillment and wanting to spread that joy to others as well. You know, if you are fulfilled and happy and feel like you are living in purpose, then sort of by default you start doing things and that spread that type of energy to other people too, and it's having like this bigger ripple effect. Yeah, I feel like whatever it is that you are doing with this temperance energy is so needed. But I'm going to leave it here, pile number 2, because I don't want to drag this reading on any longer. I truly hope that this reading spoke to you, that you got what you needed from it, and that the messages resonated. Yeah, I had a lot of fun doing this reading, and I do hope that you did too. And if that's the case, I would really appreciate it if you could leave me something down in the description box. In the comment section, just letting me know that this reading spoke to you. Or you could just give me a thumbs up as well. That is probably the easiest way to show support. And also don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done that already. I would really appreciate it. But other than that, if I don't see you in any of the other piles, please take care of yourselves, pile 2. I am wishing you all the best, and yeah, I hope that you are as excited as I am about what it is that you are creating and what it is that you are bringing about in the world, because it seems to be quite huge. But yeah, anyway, thank you and all the best to you, dear pile number 2. Take care. Bye-bye. Hello, pile number 3. Welcome to your reading. So you chose this stunning tiger's eye wand, or at least that's what I call it. And you also chose the Antique Anatomy Tarot, which we will get into a bit later. Because first we're going to start off with the overall energy, and that is what we're going to be looking at through the oracle cards that I have already prepared beforehand, and also through some major arcana cards. So we are going to start off with your energy and the energy around you, and then we'll get into the general energy of the situation that you are currently dealing with. So let's see, what sort of energy is pile number 3 in? Okay, thank you. We got the Death card. I'm going to show you the cards more closely afterwards as well. And can we please look at the energy around pile number 3? Please describe the energy around pile number 3. What sort of energy is surrounding them? Okay, and we have the Hermit. And at the bottom of the deck, we have Judgment, which I'm just going to show you because these cards are absolutely stunning. But we're not really going to be focusing on the underlying energy with these cards, because we have other cards to focus on. So the card that is symbolizing your energy is the Death card. And the energy around you is symbolized or represented by the Hermit. Okay, and let's now get into these oracle cards and see what sort of situation you are dealing with. Okay, we first have number 40 with Oh Sunny Day. We also have number 50 with Be Open to Receiving. Okay, interesting. We now have number 20 with the dream. I don't know how well you'd be able to see it again. Let me see if I can turn it down a bit. There we go. Might be better to see. Okay, we have another number 40. So you have 40, 50, 20, and 40. So we have Crystal Clear as the next card out. Yeah, that seems to be picking up better. And finally, we have number 8 with Red Garden. Okay, so pile number 3, let's get into these cards one by one. So first, your energy with the Death card is very clearly talking about a period of transformation and a period of great changes, possibly massive endings, and also a lot of like clearing up or, you know, decluttering. And I feel that it is... because this is speaking of your energy directly or personally, it could say that you are sort of not just trying to clear up things in your own life, like externally, but you may also be trying to do everything that you can, or maybe it's not even really up to you. Maybe it's this involuntary urge to change some things about you, about your lifestyle, about your appearance, about what you want or what you value. Maybe it's like this whole, you know, all-encompassing thing. But it does seem like with the Death card, changes are definitely happening and have been happening for you. So this is, you know, the Death card sounds very dramatic, but it's not that, you know, that dramatic. It just signifies transformation and things sort of transmuting from one to the other. You know, space being cleared up for new beginnings and new things and fresh new starts. So it's really just about getting rid of old stuff that has served its purpose and that is just taking up space at this point. So you seem to be very determined to make space in your life and to get rid of the things that are old, that are stale, that are just this dead weight really, and that you don't really, you know, find enjoyable anymore, or that you just don't feel like keeping up or keeping in your life anymore. So this can, as I said, attain to, or this can pertain to yourself personally, but this can also pertain to your sort of, you know, existing realm around you. So this could talk about your relationships, this could talk about your career path, your work, your hobbies, your free time, your goals, your dreams, your achievements, anything like that really. It seems like there are some pretty drastic changes happening in all of those regards. But interestingly enough, the energy that is around you is the Hermit. And so this is telling me that even though you seem to be sort of in this space where you may be wanting or trying to work rather quickly, you know, even though, I mean, the Death card is not as rapid as like the Tower card. The Death card is very much, you know, that type of energy that you yourself are sort of ready for or prepared for, or you can sort of see coming from a mile away. So in that sense, it feels like you are very much like ahead of the game, whereas the Hermit energy is very much like still and much more slow moving. This is Virgo energy, and this is all about introspection and sort of taking time out, detaching from the outside world, pulling energy in so that, you know, you could really sit with yourself and receive some sort of deeper guidance. But because this is speaking of energy around you, this could indicate that, you know, your relationships or the people around you are somewhat distant at this time, or, you know, you may not have as much of a a connection or support group or network around you right now for whatever reason. You know, again, for some of you, it could be that you have sort of initiated that yourself, right? Maybe it's like a conscious thing or a deliberate thing in like cutting some ties with people or removing some people, or even just possibly diminishing contact with some people that you maybe don't really want to be a part of your life anymore. But for others of you, this could be that, you know, other people around you have their own stuff going on. And so it's just, it's one of those times where, you know, people are just sort of dealing with their stuff, and it's more of this downtime period. So take it as it resonates. But this hermit energy is really making me think that you could be more willing or ready to move on with these like more drastic steps or these changes, and just wanting to get rid of stuff really is what I feel like your energy is at. Whereas the hermit energy is almost like not ready to accommodate all of that yet. So there is a bit of a difference in energy, because the death card is a card of Scorpio. So, you know, Scorpio being a water sign is very much more fluent and a lot more moving than Virgo, which is an earth sign, and earth, you know, being very much steady and stuck and, you know, the slowest moving of all of the elements. So yeah, there is this weird sort of chasm that I feel between these two energies. And just the last thing I want to say is that I also feel that there could be this sort of delay in seeing certain things come about, or maybe even seeing new beginnings, because your surrounding energies are still somewhat going through like this analysis period, or things are still sort of, you know, becoming more settled or work through or understood. And so you may be in much more of a rush to start seeing the new things and bringing these bigger changes about. But I feel like around you that may not necessarily be happening yet. And I also say that because I look at all of these oracle cards, and I feel like there is actually a lot of like positivity and opportunity here, especially with these two cards, with this "Oh sunny day" and "Be open to receive." Now these two cards are making me feel that the energy around you is the energy of the situation that you were dealing with is very much like ready to start seeing the new, or ready to begin, like, I don't know, new projects, meet new people, go travel to a new location, you know, something like that. I feel like there's a lot of optimism here with like new things coming in. So I definitely feel like, you know, that is something that is on the cards for you, or in the cards for you. But I also feel like it does require some patience. As I said, I feel like things are still sort of, you know, moving into place, and there are so many moving parts to this whole situation that, you know, it just takes a bit more time. We also have these cards here with the Dream and Crystal Clear. And this is making me feel that, you know, at this time, the sort of the main thing that you can do is just stay focused on what the dream is, what it is that you want. And, you know, just being very much in a crystal clear mindset where you know exactly what it is that you are after, where you want to go, what you want to bring with you, what you don't want to bring with you. Just having a very, very firm understanding of the path ahead. And so really, this is just, you know, this is pretty much saying that while things are still sort of moving into place and things are sort of being arranged for you, and the right opportunities are being lined up for you, and while all of that is happening, what you can do is just sort of appreciate the moment and appreciate where you are right now, what you have right now, and how far you have come and where you want to get to, if this would focus. sometimes doesn't really want to do that, because this red garden card is a card of appreciation and of just like, you know, taking the time to smell the roses, taking the time to be present and really acknowledge what is around you, where you are right now. And as I said, like how much you have already changed or how much you have already gained. And so this is sort of this, you know, taking some time out really is what I feel is being encouraged in this situation that you are dealing with. So as I said, it very much feels like the energy that you are currently dealing with in your circumstances is sort of closely lining up with this hermit energy, you know, where things may be taking a bit more time, but that doesn't mean that nothing is happening, even if you are not necessarily seeing it. I mean, for some of you, it could be that, you know, you are seeing some things. There could be some positive changes that are already happening or that you have already brought about. Or, you know, because this is indicating that things are starting to come around for you. It could be that, you know, there are some things that are already here or are about to arrive, but mostly I feel like you may not still be able to see them. And so there could be a sense of, you know, impatience or just, you know, wanting things to move along a bit more quickly. So yeah, it almost feels like you are in the sort of springtime already, wanting to see new growth and wanting to see all of that fresh new energy, and everything else around you is still in that wintry gestation period, you know? So I feel like good things are coming. They're just going to take some more time. But let's look at the tarot portion now. So I have already shuffled the cards, but we're going to prepare them for our spread. And at the bottom of the deck, we have the Lovers in reverse. Okay, so let's see. Okay, the first card out is the 10 of Coins. I'm going to show you all the cards and then we'll talk about them. The next card out is the 10 of Blades or the 10 of Swords. Then we have the Hanged Man. Next we have the 2 of Cups reversed. We also have the 7 of Coins or the 7 of Pentacles. The Wheel of Fortune. And finally, the Judgment card again. So that's interesting because we had that at the bottom of the Major Arcana deck as well. Okay, so I moved the cards around so that, you know, we would have more space to look at all of the cards. But let's dive into this spread because this is a very, very interesting story here. So a lot of the cards are actually confirming what we were already talking about. So some of them I'm just going to sort of brush over more quickly. The first card out that you got is the 10 of Coins, which is talking about your past energy. Now, the 10 of Coins is a very well-established sort of energy. This indicates stability, security, safety, long-standing, long-term structures that are in place for, you know, almost like generations. So even though this doesn't have to necessarily be like a generational energy for you, it's just saying that the past energy that you have left behind is one that was possibly or probably in place for a significant amount of time, and it's something that you most likely like either grew up in or grew up with. There is a lot of this, you know, like parental, familial, ancestral conditioning or influence that is very often present in the Ten of Coins. But it can just, generally talk about having a very steady sort of home space or a very steady business, very steady income, being very materially or physically secure. So again, whether that is talking about a steady home life or, some sort of a very securely foundational family background or something like that, or whether that is talking about, having a very strong influence from your family, from your upbringing and that sort of background energy. It just seems like this is the energy that you are leaving behind. So most likely, whatever this is that you grew up with or that you had in place in your life for a very long time, this existing structure is something that you are now sort of tired with, or you feel is not really vibing with you anymore, is not vibing with who you truly are, where you want to go. Take it as it resonates. But in your current energy, we have the Ten of Swords, which is very, very much tied to the Death card. The energy with these two cards is actually fairly similar, because the Ten of Swords is also talking about major endings that then bring about new beginnings. But this is, the Death card and the Ten of Swords is, they're not like necessarily easy cards, because these are focusing on the ending part. And so the endings can be painful, they can be difficult, they can be emotionally draining as well. Even though we are talking about, the sword suit, so air element. So this is very much, cerebral or in the mind. This is still, letting go of pre-existing notions or beliefs or attitudes. So this is a major, major shift, and something that, is as done and dusted as can be. So it's clear to me that currently you are doing a lot of purging, you are doing a lot of releasing, a lot of clearing of space. And yeah, so even though I feel like you are very much up to it, because this Death card energy is so prevalent in your energy, it doesn't necessarily mean that, this is an easy thing for you. I just feel that there is a certain sort of acceptance that is present with you, where you sort of understand why it needs to happen, or again, where you sort of saw the ending coming already, so it sort of didn't take you by surprise. Or again, for some of you, it could be that these things that you are releasing are just so draining on you that, it doesn't really even, it's not really even that big of a, or that difficult of a decision. And, I quickly want to jump to this underlying energy for a bit, because we had the Lovers card in reverse as the underlying energy. This is a card of Gemini. So again, very much like Mercurial energy, which again focuses on the mind and on thoughts and decisions. And so I do feel like with this being the underlying energy, it's clear to me that there are some pretty big decisions that you are making about your life and about your life course or your path in general. So it does seem like, as I said, an all-encompassing thing where you could be making these massive changes on several different areas of your life, or maybe even all different areas of your life. But very often the Lovers is also a card of specifically relationships or partnerships. And so it could be that, this whole thing is focused on you not really wanting to continue or not wanting to take future steps with someone or in a certain partnership anymore. So it could be a bit of a partnership dissolving as well for some of you, but we'll get to that in a bit later. But it does seem that whatever these changes are talking about, it seems to indicate that you're not really wanting to continue down the same path that you have continued down, and so that's why you are making some sort of pretty drastic changes. Now, we also have the Hanged Man here as the near future energy, which again is very much confirming what we were already talking about. The Hanged Man is a card of Neptune, and Neptune is very much like a hazy and sort of illusionary, like a planet that is very hard to like define or grasp. And it's also very often to do with like transcendental energy. So, you know, this card is talking of being in a space where you sort of don't have that much contact with the external real physical reality type of energy, where you are very much being pushed into a space where you don't have that much control over things, or where you are forced to like just sort of sit and wait things out as things are sort of falling into place. And so again, all that you really can do in this space where you can't move or where you don't have that much control over things is to, you know, dive into your own psyche or work things out internally. And so that's why very often, I mean, you can't see it on this card, but very often the Hanged Man has this like halo or glowy energy around his head, because it symbolizes the level of enlightenment that he gains as he is, you know, suspended in midair and as he is helpless to do anything or change anything physically around him. So it does seem like for the next 3 months or so in the near future, things may still very much be in a bit of a standstill energy, or at least seemingly in a standstill, you know, where you are not seeing that many changes happening, or things may still be sort of moving around or moving along a bit more slowly than you would like. But at the same time, I do feel like this period, this next 3 month period is going to be very, very illuminating and enlightening for you, making you see certain truths that maybe you didn't see before, or, you know, just giving you a certain type of different perspective and viewpoint on things, like a fresh take on things, maybe even some epiphanies or like aha breakthrough moments that make it even more easy for you to like start taking action in the direction that would be good for you or would be beneficial for you when things actually start moving along again, and you know, you can start producing some more results, because we have the surrounding energy being represented by the 7 of coins. And so this is telling me that, as I said, I do feel like there are some like teeny tiny things that you have already seen that are starting to like come out or appear for you, where, you know, you are gaining some little wins or some little rewards or little results of what it is that you are doing, and sort of these tiny significations that you are on the right path and that you're doing the right thing. But I do feel like these are tiny, because the 7 of Swords is very much, again, a card of patience, of things like trickling almost. You know, the progress is being made, but it's something that is taking a long time to sort of fully come to fruition. So you are just almost like going off of blind faith for the most part. But there are some little bits of information that you are receiving that, you know, this is the right thing. With the 7 of coins being here, I definitely feel like this is almost like a guarantee or a promise. Again, as I said, with this be open to receiving, that things are going to be coming to you. Good things are going to be coming, and you are going to be gaining or getting the rewards that you deserve and that you are hoping for, but it just takes time. So this is almost this energy of needing to have faith in things working out and producing the results that you want. But I feel like you don't actually have that much issue with it, at least based on this card. We have the Wheel of Fortune, which is indicating the attitude that you have towards this whole situation. This is a card of Jupiter, and rightly so, because Jupiter is a very positive planet. It's a very optimistic planet. It's a very abundant planet as well. And so, you know, that's why the Wheel of Fortune is very often tied to the energy of luck, or sort of things working out in your favor without you really, you know, needing to do anything. This is not the type of energy that you can affect yourself. This is destiny working in its own way, doing its own magic, and you sort of just going along for the ride. And so I do feel like this is, you know, saying that you do have high hopes for the future, and you do believe that you are sort of doing the right thing, or you seem to have fairly like strong convictions of what it is that you are doing and what you feel like you need to do in order to get your life on the right track or on the right path. Yeah, I don't know. I really like this Wheel of Fortune here, because it says that, at least to me, it says that you believe in, you know, the universe working out in your own favor, and, you know, you manifesting the things that you want to manifest, and doing your part in the whole like cosmic collaboration. And I feel like that the Wheel of Fortune is also the reason why it is possible for you to go through this Death card energy and this Ten of Swords energy, because as I said, it does feel like there is some like pain or difficulty that is a part of this releasing process, that is a part of, you know, letting things go. But because there is this inherent optimism of, you know, this being the right thing, or sort of you looking towards the future, towards the ultimate dream or goal, right? That is the thing that is like keeping you going, and that is the thing that is motivating you in overcoming any difficulties. Now, we also have the outcome energy as judgment, which, as I said, was the underlying energy before as well. And judgment is a very, very, like, it has a very big energy about it, because it talks about rebirth. It talks about a whole new awakening, or a new sort of coming to life energy, where, you know, there is a certain like old you that is being left behind, and then this whole new version that comes about as a result of all of these epiphanies and all of these realizations and all of these experiences that you are internally and externally going through. So this is saying that, you know, this death process that you are in right now, this is going to lead to a beautiful new beginning, a beautiful new you, where you are revitalized, where you are sort of stepping back into life in a more aligned and just sort of more at home, I want to say, way. But I feel like it's at home with yourself, you know, with your true self, or feeling a lot more, you know, comfortable in your own skin and in your own life, and really being able to enjoy your life more as well, because it's much more true to you and true to what it is that you actually want. Whereas, you know, the Ten of Coins is very rarely about what we want. It's very often about what we have been conditioned to want. It's that sort of, again, this generational energy, right? That has a lot of influence on us, and a lot of influence on the decisions that we end up making as adults if we don't break the cycle. You know, so this judgment card is telling me that you are definitely going to be breaking the cycle. You are definitely going to be seeing the results of all of this transformation that you are going through, and all of this releasing that you are doing. And there is, as I said, this promised new beginning. But now, because we did ask a question, what will lead you to success, right? We also have the final card to go through, which is the answer to that question. And we have the Two of Cups. Now, the Two of Cups came out in reverse, which is what is sort of taking me back to, you know, this Lover's card. Because it is telling me that, you know, for some of you, this is definitely about some sort of relationship or partnership that is dissolving. So some of you could be going through a divorce, because when the Two of Cups came out in reverse, the thing that I heard in my head was dissolving of a contract. So for some of you, this could be like an official partnership or marriage or something like that, you know, where there is some legal documentation that goes along with whatever this partnership that you are in is. So for some of you, this could be, you know, the signification of you actually detaching from a person, or from a very serious, long-lasting or long-standing relationship. But for others of you, you know, if this isn't necessarily like a romantic or a life partner type of thing, this could indicate that, you know, you are separating from, you know, a business partner, or maybe you are cutting ties with a family member or a friend or something like that, who you just don't really, who maybe had a very big part in your life before, but that maybe doesn't really fit into the future plans or something like that. Take it as it resonates. This could talk about just any sort of, you know, more emotionally invested relationship. But if we sort of like, you know, push aside the whole relationship scenario for a second, then just sort of as a broader energy, what this card is saying is that there needs to be a separation from a certain sort of dream or a certain promise that was once made, you know, because it seems that it isn't something that is true anymore, or it isn't really something that is fulfilling anymore, and it isn't going to be sustaining you in the future. So really the answer to what will lead you to success is that you need to separate yourself from something that you used to be very closely attached or associated to previously. So again, whether this is a relationship, whether this is a business, like, you know, a business partnership, whether this is a job or a certain career that, I don't know, your parents told you that you need to pursue, whether this is a living arrangement or living situation with someone that it isn't really working out anymore, whatever this is, it just seems like there has to be a separation or a detachment from it. Now, I do want to quickly get some more information about this Two of Cups reverse. So I'm going to clarify it, because I feel like the rest of it is like, it's fairly straightforward, and it fairly sort of cohesively plays into the whole reading. But I am interested to see if we can get any more information about this Two of Cups reversed. So can you please clarify the Two of Cups reversed? Okay, we got some cards. Oh, interesting. We have the Five of Wands as the underlying energy. So clearly there is some discord or, you know, some disagreements in possibly like future direction, or just desires and dreams and aspirations in general. Oh, okay. Interesting. We have the King of Wands, which came out first, which is a card of Leo. Oh, sorry, I don't think I mentioned, but Judgment is a card of Pluto. So, you know, it can also be associated with the sign Scorpio, because as it's its modern ruler. And the Jupiterian card can be associated with Sagittarius. And the Neptunian card can be associated with Pisces. So I'm just sort of pointing out the zodiacal signs in case they mean something to you. You know, if you can tie them to either yourself or the people around you, then maybe it is easier for you to understand, you know, who these energies are. But yeah, this is a card of Leo, and the Queen of Pentacles reversed, that's what it came out. But the Queen of Pentacles is a card of Capricorn. But basically we have fire energy and earth energy again. So yeah, what this is telling me, you know, it's also kind of interesting how these cards came out, because you can see how they have their backs to each other. And it's also interesting that we're getting this dynamic of the, you know, like feminine energy and masculine energy. And I'm not saying, you know, that this is gender specific in any way, but it is indicative of a relationship of some sort, because we're getting two court cards, which are generally talking about people or different energies. And so it's very clear to me, especially, you know, with the Five of Wands being the underlying energy here too, that there is a discord, there is, you know, pretty like big disagreements in what the future desires or visions are. And, you know, it's clear to me that someone is very much set on what it is that they want. They have a clear vision with this King of Wands. They are determined, they are very ambitious, they are very motivated to go after the dream life, you know. And then we have this Queen of Pentacles, which is much more passive in energy, because first of all, it's feminine energy, but also because it's coming out in reverse, which is telling me that, you know, there possibly isn't that much like security or a very firm understanding of what they even value or what they want. You know, there could be some like sketchy belief systems or something like that. There could be some like insecurity, or there just could be some general like haziness and, you know, distractedness and sort of maybe even a more like shallow way of being as well. So these two energies are just very, very, very different in the way that they see things, in the way that they, you know, go after things and what it is that they want. And so that seems to be ultimately what this Two of Cups is talking about, you know. So yeah, there is a need to separate from whatever this discord, or I almost want to say dysfunctional energy is, because I do feel like the King of Wands was talking about your energy, and the Queen of Pentacles was talking about someone else's energy. Because again, you know, Queen of Pentacles is earth energy, and we saw the Hermit with earth energy around you as well. So it just seems like, you know, that Queen of Pentacles energy is not very supportive of you, and it's not very conducive to your growth and your development, and possibly even to the development of the relationship or the partnership. And so yeah, this does not feel sustainable, and that's why I feel like this separation energy is coming in so strongly. But again, I do want to emphasize, you know, if you are in a happy relationship, then obviously this message is not about you. This is targeted at the people who already know that something is wrong, who already are in the process of separating, or are in, you know, or it's at least something that you have already been considering for quite some time, or there are already signs of like things not really being right or not really working out. So as I said, this is not a surprise. So if this is your reading, you already know that that's the case. Just wanted to clarify. But before we close the reading out, I also want to get you some advice from Spirit. So let's see what last pieces of advice we can get for pile number 3. Okay, we have 1, if I could get it. Okay, interesting. I'm going to talk about that in a second. But let's get a couple more. Can we get a couple more pieces of advice for pile number 3's reading, please? Okay, I guess that's it. So, oh, beautiful. Okay. So the first card that you got is the distraction of shiny things, with number 15 reducing down to 6. So yeah, again, this card came out in another pile as well. And so there is this underlying energy of, you know, things that are not really meant for you and that are not really meant to be on your path, but that are sort of swaying you away from your true calling, because for some reason or another, they seem to be something that you should want, or that, you know, other people think that you need or should want in your life. And so this is really just saying, you know, to, again, have this crystal clear focus, you know, on what you know that is right for you, and to not allow yourself to be swayed off your path by other people and what their opinions are and what they think is right for you. That's the one piece of advice that you got. And the other one is number 34 reducing down to 7, which says your soul shines. So I do feel like this is actually, you know, this is actually making me think of the Hermit card, because he also has a little star in his lantern, which, I mean, in here it's just that the star is on top of the lantern, and there is a bit of like flame in the lantern. I don't know how well you're able to see. Yeah, you should be able to see it. So it's making me think of the Hermit energy, because it's almost like, you know, needing to find this inner light to guide you on your path. And so I feel like with this piece of advice, it's just saying that you have a very loud inner voice, or your intuition is speaking to you very loudly at this time. So just, you know, pay attention to what it is that you are hearing, or possibly even your dreams as well, right? We have this dream energy card here. So you could be receiving some pretty big messages through your dreams when you are sleeping. You could be having some vivid dreams, or you could be having some psychic dreams or something like that. But it does seem like your intuition is very important at this time, and it's speaking to you very, very loudly. And at the bottom of the deck, we had cut the cords of doubt with number 42, again, reducing down to 6. So, yeah, again, if there is anyone around you who is trying to sway you off your path, or trying to, you know, talk you out of things, or trying to sway you with their viewpoints or their opinions, just be very, very discerning and be very, you know, careful of taking that opinion on board, because I feel like you know very, very well what it is that you're doing with all of these major arcana cards. You seem to be very much on track here. So beautiful pile number 3. I am going to leave it here, and I hope that this reading resonated for you. And if it did, please leave me a thumbs up or a comment in the comment section. I would love to hear from you. And please don't forget to subscribe as well if you haven't done that already. But if I don't see you in any of the other piles, please take care of yourselves, and I hope to see you very soon. Bye-bye. Hello and welcome to your reading pile number 4. So you chose the Rhodonite stone as well as the Ethereal Visions Tarot, but we are going to be using that just a bit later, because first of all, we're going to look at the general energy. Now, I have some oracle cards that I have prepared already, and we are going to be looking at those in a second as well. But first, we are going to start off with some major arcana cards, because we're going to look at your personal energy at this time and the energy that is around you. And then with the oracle cards, we'll see the general energy of the situation that you are dealing with. So hopefully we'll get a good understanding of what is going on. But let's see what is pile number 4's energy at this time. Please describe pile number 4's energy. Okay. Interesting. We have Temperance. I'm going to show you the cards in a second, but, you know, let's get the surrounding energy first as well. What sort of energy is around pile number 4? Please describe the energy around pile number 4. Oh, okay. This is interesting. We're getting the first reversal, because I didn't put any reversals in the deck. I just sort of, you know, counted on if a card wants to come out reversed, it will come out reversed, and that's the case. So I'm just going to show you the underlying energy as well, even though we are not going to be focusing on this, you know, for the reading, just in case. If it comes out afterwards as well in some of the other decks, then we'll talk about it more, then we'll pay it some attention. But you have the Emperor card. I always look at the head and I think of the devil, but this is the Emperor card. So that's the underlying energy, and I'm going to show you these cards more closely too. So you have Temperance, which is describing your personal energy at this time, and Temperance is a card of Sagittarius. Just in case the zodiacal sign means something to you. If it doesn't, it doesn't, but I'm just pointing them out. And the energy around you at this time is the Fool in reverse. The Fool is a card of Uranus, or it's sometimes associated with Aries as well, as it is the first card in the major arcana. But Uranus can also be associated with Aquarius. So there you go. And let's now look at the oracle cards that you got. So the situation that you are dealing with. Ooh, we have number 14. Again, Temperance is number 14 as well, with the art of seduction. So interesting. because I mentioned the devil before, and you know, that's making me think of the devil again. We have number 47 with no strings attached. We also have number 40 with transformation. And we have number 35 with take action. And finally, we have number 39, my home is my castle. Okay, so let's get into these cards. Saving the best for last, right? Or saving at least the most complex for last. Honestly, I have to say, again, I had to sit with your cards for a bit because it seems to be a bit of a puzzling one, this energy, I have to say. I'm just sort of, you know, going to give you a general glimpse of what I am picking up on from this energy. And to me, it feels like you are dealing with something that is very enticing to you or very alluring. But there seems to also be a lot of like fear or apprehension around it as well. So I do have to point out that I do feel like a pretty strong relationship energy coming through just because of the energies and the way that they are sort of playing out over here. But as I always say, you know, use your discernment, and if this isn't talking about a relationship for you, but it is applying in some other aspect of your life, then, you know, apply it in that way. But let's go through the cards, so, you know, hopefully you'll understand better what I'm trying to say here. But we're starting off with the Temperance card, which is describing your energy, right? And Temperance is a card of moderacy or moderate behavior. And it's very much a card of, you know, finding the middle ground between two opposites or two extremes, or finding something, you know, taking two distinct elements and combining them together to merge them into something new and fresh and, you know, a whole new thing. And so it does seem like you are at this time trying to, you know, find a way to make something work, but at the same time being very careful, very deliberate with it, being very, I almost feel like very careful in how you express yourself, how you say things, how you act, or what sort of actions you do take. So this is this very like, I almost feel this energy of like going back and forth in your own mind or in your own head and trying to find the best way to go about something. It's almost like you're trying to do the wisest thing and putting a lot of thought into, a lot of consideration into your actions because you are trying to avoid a mistake. And so this just feels like very planned, very careful, very much like towing the line type of energy, you know, not wanting to cross any boundaries or any barriers and not really wanting to put yourself at risk. So yeah, playing it safe. That's what I heard in my head right now. Playing it safe. That's what I feel like your energy is saying. That, and you know, that's not a bad thing, right? I mean, it may sound like, you know, it's not the best thing to play it safe, but, or at least I don't know why, but I feel like there is a bit of a negative connotation to that expression. But I don't feel like it's a bad thing at all. You are just protecting yourself from doing something stupid, from, you know, making a mistake or something, you know, causing yourself pain later or down the line. So this is your energy. But then we see the Fool coming out in reverse as the energy around you. And the interesting thing is that that is very much the same sort of energy, but it's not as like thought through and deliberate as your energy is. This is just a much more of a like an apprehensive energy, but it's not really like going through the ifs and hows and whys and buts. It's just going through the notion that, oh, if I do this, I may make a mistake. I don't want to rush anything. So this is just sort of being afraid to explore the unknown, being afraid to put oneself out of their comfort zone. And so that's why I feel like there is these two energies at play that are very distinct. And that's what is making me think of like a relationship, that it seems like both of you are experiencing, and I'm saying it like this is describing a certain individual. And I'm going to talk about that a bit more closely as well as we get on with the reading. But I do feel like this is talking about a specific person's energy and not necessarily like the general energy around you of like people surrounding you, even though that could be the case as well. So again, take it as it resonates. But I do feel very strongly that this is talking about a specific individual who is very much afraid of making a mistake, just as like you seem to be. But with you are still trying to like find a way to still make things happen or bring about the results that you want, without risking too much. But this person is almost like they're not really putting too much thought into it. It's just this apprehension of what happens if I do that and I put myself out of my comfort zone, So there is a lot of like this fear or being scared of making a mistake, basically, or being scared of putting themselves into a precarious situation or a situation where they don't feel safe and where they don't have control over things. With the Fool being here too, this almost feels like this is a whole new situation for someone, because with Temperance it seems like you have been there before, or you have some sort of life experience or wisdom to draw upon, whereas with the Fool energy it seems like the other person or the energy around you is very much like inexperienced. They have no idea what they're dealing with, and this is like a first for them. And so yeah, you seem to be at a bit of an advantage here, or have some sort of an upper hand in that regard. But funnily enough, as I said, like these two energies are both mirroring each other. It's just going about in different ways. Now, looking at the situation, as I said, there is heavy like relationship energy, mainly because of these two cards here. These are making me think of a relationship. I mean, obviously with, the art of seduction, this is speaking of like romance and love and passion and those type of feelings that, usually people experience in a relationship. But with this no strings attached, it's making me think of like this flirty, dating type of energy, that's something that isn't very serious yet, something that is just sort of at the beginning stages and sort of still developing. So there isn't really that many responsibilities or obligations that are attached to this situation. But it is exciting, right? It's exciting. And so that's the sort of the promise or the allure that is here. But then we have this card here, actually both of these cards. We have the My Home is My Castle and Take Action. Now, the My Home is My Castle card is very much, again, making me feel of like self-preservation and protection. So it does seem like there is heavy desire to protect oneself and not risk any like security, stability, that type of thing. And just like sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied, especially because you can see the walls, the castle walls that she has built that is growing on her back. And so I feel like, she's almost contemplating whether this new thing is worth adding to what she has established, whether it's safe to allow that new tower to be a part of her domain. And so that's what I feel like is... that's what I feel like is describing your energy a lot more, because of this feeling of like you having some sort of previous experience or some sort of like emotional baggage, or I mean, baggage sounds bad, but it just feels like, you have something to draw upon, something to rely on within like, past experiences. But then we have this take action card. And so this is making me feel that, you know, there is this urge to do something about the situation, to take some next steps, to make some progress happen. But I almost feel like, because it's you know, because it almost comes out as like a slogan, you know, take action, or it's like this call to action. It feels like it's something that you are not necessarily doing, or something that is difficult. Again, I feel like with both of these cards, taking action is somewhat challenging, you know, because it puts you at risk. And so that's why I feel like this whole reading is circling around making changes to that sort of dynamic or to that situation, right? Transforming the way that this relationship is right now and changing it to something more serious, something more steady. Taking it away from the no strings attached, you know, playing it safe, being this casual thing. Or even if it's not like a casual relationship, you know, even if it is something that you have already established somewhat, even if, you know, this is a relationship where you have been dating for a long time and maybe there have been some, you know, steps taken to make it a more solid relationship. In the grand scheme of things, I feel like this reading is just talking about taking this relationship that you have, this existing thing, to the next level and making it more serious. But the sort of the notion of that is what is triggering these responses in you, or what is triggering this fear of like making a mistake, or putting yourself in a bit of a bad spot, or an inescapable situation or something like that. So I feel like this progression or this transformation is like triggering the both of you. Again, I'm speaking very specifically about, you know, two distinct energies here, and like it is a relationship, because that's the way that I'm picking it up the strongest. But again, you know, take it as it resonates. If this is not talking about a relationship for you, then this is just talking about, you know, solidifying or making progress and taking something existing and making it more like permanent or more serious, more long-term. Taking a risk in some way, you know? So however this applies to you, this just feels like a stepping up type of thing here. But let's now move on to the tarot portion and see what else we can find out, because hopefully we will get some more information about this whole situation. Now, I have already shuffled these cards, but I am going to prepare them specifically for this 7-card spread that we are going to be looking at to answer the question, what will lead you to success? Oops. Okay, interesting. At the bottom of the deck, we have the Knight of Swords. I don't know how well you'll be able to see it. These are super bright cards with like gold embellishments, so you may not be able to see them that well. Oh, I think, yeah, this seems to be working a bit. So at the bottom of the deck, we have the Knight of Swords, which is Gemini energy, or just air energy in general. And let's see what cards you have. So we have the Eight of Swords reversed as the first card out. We also have the Well, which is number 22, and this is a specific card to this deck. Added Major Arcana. We also have the Star coming out in reverse. We have the Knight of Wands in reverse. We also have Judgment in reverse. the Ten of Wands in reverse. And, ooh, Justice. Okay. So pile number 4, we have quite a lot to go through, but I am first going to start off with this Knight of Swords energy, because this is the underlying energy and this is a card of Gemini. I think I mentioned it, but yeah, I'm pretty sure I did. So this energy is all about being very, very, almost like laser focused on, you know, a certain target or goal that you have, and being very, almost like all in going after that thing, right? Something that is at the forefront of everything, something that is the driving force behind everything that you do, and just sort of going after what you believe to be true, what you believe to be right, and not allowing fear or anything else to sort of keep you from going after it or stand in your way in some way. Like, this is clearing up the path from everything and anything so that you could go after what it is that you ultimately want. And I feel like that's what this whole reading is about, really. It's about overcoming fears, about overcoming inhibitions or past traumas, past baggage, that type of thing. Anything that is really keeping you from your desired goal. And because it's also the Swords card here, this very much is talking about, you know, things that are in your head that may be having a pretty big effect on everything that is going on. Now, let's go through the reading one by one. So we are starting off with the Eight of Swords in reverse, and this card is talking about the past. Now, this is making me feel that, you know, there may have been, like recently, you may have, you know, gotten out of a relationship with someone else, or even if it's not that recent, it's just, you know, somewhere in the somewhat recent past, you know, in the past few years or something. It may very well have been that you were in some sort of a relationship or commitment, or even again, like a partnership that was very restrictive and that was very oppressive or repressive, and that didn't really allow you to be who you truly are, or that, you know, made you feel like you had to conform in some sort of way to be accepted or to be tolerated or loved, or, you know, whatever, take it as it resonates. But this just feels like you somewhat recently got out of a situation, or you experienced getting out of a situation that just, you know, made you feel very, very tied down. And so it seems like, you know, this would explain the whole like emotional baggage thing for those of you who are resonating with, you know, having some sort of a protective barrier around you because of the things that you have gone through in the past. So this very much like describes a relationship that, you know, burned you very, very seriously. But if it's not specifically talking about that, it just feels like sometime in the recent past, you have gotten to a place where you are finally sort of willing to start opening up again, or making yourself sort of available. Because the Eight of Swords is very, very much like a, you know, a closed off energy. Hopefully you can see it here too. It's very much the closed off energy, just, you know, being tied down, not really seeing a way out. And this just makes me, you know, feel like you were almost like off the market or something, or, you know, you were just very, very much out of range. You weren't available to other people, again, in whatever capacity this is talking about. But I am going to stick to the relationship scenario because it's coming out the strongest. Now, it's also funny to me, I just quickly want to show you, it's also kind of funny that we are getting two cards which are depicting like these bonds, or, you know, that the hands are tied, right? So it's very clear to me that there is some sort of, either some sort of trauma or some triggers around feeling restricted or feeling limited or feeling, you know, pushed into a corner some way, or where boundaries have been severely crossed, you know, or, you know, personal wishes have not been acknowledged or respected, or something like that. So yeah, it just feels like there has been a sense of liberation in the recent past, which has led us to the current or present energy, which is being represented by the Well. Now, this is, as I said, not a part of a traditional major arcana. This is a card specific to this deck. And this card is talking about like inspiration and almost this like divine knowledge or divine insight, something that, you know, strikes us, or something that is available for all of us to like tap into and draw inspiration from. But this is requiring some sort of like openness or willingness to hear it and to tap into it. And so I find it very interesting. I feel like this is again referring to your energy, because you came out as the Temperance card. So this is making me feel that, you know, you are in this more like spiritual, ethereal, divine energy, or seeking some sort of a higher connection, trying to like gain an understanding or make the right moves based on that sort of higher wisdom or higher information. And so it seems that right now there is a lot of like opportunity that is present, because the Well is all about like untapped potential, or just that this is potential that is existing around you, but that isn't necessarily being manifested into the physical. So right now I feel like there is heavy energy of like things being able to progress, but you know, everything is still just purely potential. There isn't any specific forms being made yet, or any specific decisions being made yet. So it's all up in the air, and it just depends on the next steps or actions that you take. And it could go every other way, you know, or any different way. So as we are sort of in this time of opportunity, right? It's kind of interesting that looking at the near future energy, so in about the next 3 months or so, we have the Star, which is coming out in reverse. The Star is a card of Aquarius. And so it's interesting that, you know, as we were talking about the Fool card, which is the energy around you, as I said, this is a card of Uranus, and Uranus in modern astrology is ruling Aquarius. And so there is this connection here that I feel between the Star energy and this Fool energy. So I feel like in the near future, there could be some, again, I do feel like some triggers are being activated, or there could be some fears that are being released or sort of brought forth, because the Star is coming out in reverse. And this is telling me that, you know, some painful or sore spots that haven't necessarily been fully healed, or that haven't been tended to, are going to be like highlighted or brought to the forefront, so that they could be healed. But I do feel like there is this sense of, you know, sort of fears being activated or ruling the show a bit. It almost makes me feel that, you know, in the near future, in the next few months or so, it could be that this other person's energy is sort of starting to like take over or be very, very influential in the way that this relationship is progressing, because there is this fear of losing control, or fear of, you know, not having security in the way that things are progressing, or the way that the future is going. And so because of that sort of fear activated energy, it could be that that is what is causing some of your these like painful memories or sore spots to crop up as well. But I don't want this, like, I'm not saying it to scare you or anything like that. I just want you to, you know, be prepared that that could be what is coming up for you. And so that way, you know, you are prepared and you know that that's what it is. And it's not something to be, you know, alarmed about. It's just something to be aware of, so you can navigate the energy better and understand that, okay, it's not that, you know, this other person doesn't want to be with me or something. It's just that, you know, these are the fears talking. I'm you know, just giving you examples, right? Don't like quote me on anything. And I'm not saying that that's necessarily what is going to be happening in your case, but I just wanted to give you like a sense of the energy that I feel is going to be coming up in the next few months. Or I just feel like it's going to be intensifying somewhat. So, but you know, don't worry, we're going to clarify the Star card as well. It's just, Yeah, it's just an interesting one, that one. Now, moving on, we have the Judgment card in reverse, which is a card of Pluto. And Pluto in modern astrology rules Scorpio. So there could be an association with the sign Scorpio here too. But this card is describing your surrounding energies. So again, it is taking us back to this Fool card in reverse. And so, you know, with the Judgment card, I do just feel like a similar sort of energy where there is a bit of like apprehension to take things to the next level, or to really look at like big life-changing, life-altering things, and trying to avoid the steps that would take you there, right? So it just, yeah, there's just heavy fear that I feel is surrounding this this other person's energy and this whole like relationship scenario energy. And also with the Judgment in reverse, it could be that this other person, you know, who is represented by the Fool reversed, is not really wanting to admit certain things either to themselves or to you. So there is some sort of deeper truths that are either being ignored or just not listened to. But it's not, you know, it's not to say that those deeper truths aren't there. They're just not really paying attention to it right now. And so there is this, like, again, this apprehension of taking things to the next level and progressing things further that I feel is very strongly present in your surrounding energies. Now, also we have the 10 of Wands in reverse, and this card is talking about your attitude to the situation. And with the 10 of Wands reversed, it's very clear to me that you are just very much tired of any like drama or difficulty in a relationship or in your life, because I feel like you have already had a fair share of that in your life already. Did I say already twice? Anyway, because you have experienced this, it seems like you are sick and tired of being the one to carry the load on your own, or having to like struggle in a relationship. It's like, it's this feeling of not wanting to do everything by yourself and have it be like this constant fight or competition or something like that. Like, this is just wanting things to be easier and more manageable, and wanting to be, you know, an efficient teamwork rather than you just having to brave everything on your own. And so again, it just makes me feel that, you know, whatever this past experience is that you have had in other relationships or in your previous relationship, I feel like there was possibly this sense of you feeling very alone in the connection, or not having that much support, not feeling appreciated and validated and valued. And so it's just very clear to me that you don't want to repeat that again, you know? And I find it like a very interesting contrast as well, whereas, you know, with you are very clearly wanting to avoid the mistakes that you made last time, or not even mistakes that you made, but just the actions that led you to the end result of the previous or the past relationship that took you to a place that you didn't want to actually arrive at, or that, you know, brought you these undesirable and unwanted results or experiences. Whereas this other person, you know, with this Judgment energy, this is again a fear of like making a mistake, or just doing something that is the wrong thing or not the right thing for them. But this is much more like, again, ethereal or just like theoretical in nature. Almost this, you know, it's all like it's happening in their head. So they are just like imagining it, and there is not really necessarily that much physical proof of those things happening. So I just wanted to point that out, because I felt like that was an interesting contrast here. And it again sort of further confirms this feeling that I have, that, you know, you have been down that road before, whereas this person hasn't, you know. So, you know, it could also say that maybe you have been married before, and maybe you have gone through a divorce, and maybe it was very difficult, and maybe it was almost like scarring. And maybe now you are sort of trying to take the relationship to the next level with this other person, and you are thinking of like engagement or marriage, but then they may have like fears of their own that are not necessarily based on like past experience, but yours is, if that makes sense. Anyway, that was just an example again that just popped up in my head. Hopefully it made it easier for you to understand, but let's move on. We have the Justice card. The Justice is a card of Libra, and Libra is an air sign. So again, just in case these signs say something to you, and if they don't, that's fine, you can disregard them. But as this card is coming out as the outcome, this is making me think that, things are going to be progressing in this relationship, and they are going to be, taken to the next level. Like there is going to be a very concrete decision made with the Justice card. And, because the Justice card is coming out upright, it is indicating that things are very likely going to be, turning out in your favor, or they're going to be going in the direction that you want them to go. So let's say if you do want to get married to this person, or if you do want to like take things to the next level in a more serious capacity, but you are just having these like doubts of how to do that in the best way, or how to avoid the mistakes in the previous relationship, right? Then I feel like, things are going to work out for you, or work out the way that you want them to. But just generally, the Justice card is indicating that there is going to be a lot of like careful deliberation and a lot of consideration for the steps that you take and where they are going to lead you. So I feel like there is careful consideration, and I don't feel like there are any mistakes being made in that sense, because of the Justice card. It's almost like your energy is not allowing you to make the same mistakes again, or you are very, very like focused and clear-minded about the actions that you are taking and the results that they are going to have. So this is a very like critical way of looking at the situation and acting accordingly. And of course, because this is the Justice card, which is also indicating legalities, for some of you this could indicate that an engagement or a marriage or like a legal partnership is going to be taking place. So again, just take it as it resonates. If marriage or something is not something that you want, like a legal contractual partnership is not something that you're interested in, then you don't have to take that message on board. But I do see things like taking a more concrete, more serious sort of next step in your relationship, and hence the transformational energy, right? But we also have one last card to go through, which is the Knight of Wands in reverse, which is a card of Sagittarius. Now, this card is answering the question, what will lead you to success? And this is very much making me feel of needing to get away from like wishy-washy energy, because the Knight of Wands is very impulsive. The Knight of Wands is an energy that like just follows things on a whim, and that doesn't really think things through. They just go where their desire leads them, and when that desire changes, they just go about, they just take off and go in a new direction. And so when it is coming out in reverse, I feel like there needs to be more consideration on the bigger picture, right? With the Sagittarius energy, like focusing on the ultimate vision, the ultimate goal, and what it is that you actually want to achieve. Not allowing fears or doubts or uncertainties to sway you from that ultimate vision or picture that you want to get to. But that also means that, these like more base instincts or base reactions that can result from like fear or past trauma, that you wouldn't let those get you into certain situations, or put you in like situations where you make decisions from that place of fear and sort of jeopardize the situation because of that, and that goes for the both of you, not just you, even though this reading is specifically talking about what would lead you to success. But I do feel like this is actually talking about the both of you, because you are mirroring each other's energy in a way, right? As the underlying energy suggested, there needs to be a clear focus on what it is that you want to achieve, and not being swayed off of that path by, fear or other people's influence or anything like that. Just having the courage and belief to go after what it is that you want. and believe that things are going to work out in your favor, right? And that you can do the right thing. So as I said, I'm very interested to see what the Star card is more specifically about. So let's clarify the Star in reverse in your near future energy. Can you please clarify the Star reversed in the near future for pile number 4? Ooh, interesting. Oh wow, beautiful. Okay, we have the Fool card. You have so many major Arcana cards in this layout that it's making me feel like this, this energy is this transformational energy is very, very big in nature, and that it's kind of like life altering, as I said. So this feels like a bigger spiritual lesson for you at least, but most likely for the other person too. So we have the Fool card again. So, we now have a clear connection between the Fool in reverse, right? As I said, which is this other person's energy around you or the surrounding energy, and this Star card energy. So I do feel like this other person is going to, like their energy is going to be sort of taking precedence or being very, very dominant or overpowering in the next few months. And I feel like the Star card reversed with the Fool is also saying that, there could be some new opportunities or some new ideas that pop up or some new opportunity. Did I say opportunities? I'm sorry if I'm, like massively repeating myself, but I do feel like this is symbolizing some fresh new energy that is going to be coming about for you in the near future, where, again, with the Well card energy too, there could be some possibilities that prop up where you may have to like make a decision, but it, again, because it's like, it's new, it's unknown, it's something that may sound promising, but that there are no guarantees. It could be that that's what is triggering these fears as well. Like taking a plunge into something more serious, right? We also have this 10 of Cups as the underlying energy here. So it could be that, again, this is talking about some sort of a more serious commitment or something. A new step basically in the relationship coming into the picture or at the forefront of things, and so that having a very massive influence on the relationship. It could also be that this new opportunity is going to be presented to either you or this other person, and that is somehow going to, change the relationship or your living situation some way, or it's going to have a bigger impact on your connection, and that's what is causing this fear, of uncertainty or of the unknown. Let's see, is there anything else that I want to clarify? Let's look at the Justice card as well. I'm just going to leave it here. I just quickly want to look at Justice as well in the outcome. Can we please get some clarifiers for the Justice card in the outcome for pile number 4? Can you please clarify Justice in the outcome? Oh, wow. Another major arcana. Would you look at that? Okay, we have the Moon card, which is a card of Pisces. So, this to me feels like you sort of tackling your fears, especially with the Queen of Cups in reverse as well. This is Cancerian energy, so a lot of like water sign energy coming through here. Yeah, this to me feels like just, massively being taken out of your comfort zone, pretty much. But I don't think that that's a bad thing, right? Because, Justice is ultimately like, it's about doing the right thing, and it's about making decisions according to what sort of results you want to get. But the Moon card is just saying that, it's almost this like energy of taking the plunge and taking yourself out of the familiar, of the known, of the safety of where you are currently, and putting yourself on a path where things are not so clear, not so certain, right? So yeah, it seems that that is where this decision is being made, and that seems to be confronting these fears, right? So this transformational energy seems to be happening almost like no matter what, I want to say. Obviously, this is still, in your power, and this is up to you, and all of these messages that I am giving you, you know, you don't have to do anything with them. You still have free choice, obviously. But I do feel like there is a heavy influence of the divine in play as well, so that, you know, these things could be healed for you and for this other person, and so that, you know, the relationship could progress, or the situation could progress the way that it needs to go. And I do feel like the divine is playing a hand at that. But before we close the reading out, I want to get you some advice as well from Spirit. So let's see what advice does Spirit have for pile number 4. Okay, thank you. Ooh, okay, beautiful. We have number 7 with choose who you are becoming. So again, clearly this is, you know, indicating that you have the power to make certain decisions and take certain actions, and, you know, base those actions on what you ultimately want to have in your future and who you want to become, right? And we also have number 25, which further reduces down to 7, and this says befriend the word polarize. So I almost feel like with this card, 2 opposite things can be true at once. And so, you know, even if you are going through this process of taking the relationship to the next level, and even if it is scary and there isn't any guarantees, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's, you know, it's the wrong thing if you can't prepare yourself for everything that happens, right? It's like, yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm going to leave it there, otherwise I'm just going to go on a ramble, but that's what this card is making me feel. Yeah. And at the bottom of the deck, we have your past supports your future with number 11. So this is a soul path number, a master number. And I feel like this is just a very, very sweet and supportive message of, you know, everything that you have gone through in the past has led you to this point and is a necessary and useful experience. And that is ultimately what is allowing you to, you know, experience this new energy now, and what is allowing you to go into this new timeline because of everything that you have experienced. So yeah, don't see it as a bad thing, but, you know, just I feel like this whole transformational thing is going to transform the way that you see your past as well, and maybe start appreciating even some of the more difficult things in a new light because of how much it taught you and how much it, you know, prepared you for what's to come and taking you to a better place now, helping you avoid the pitfalls, I almost want to say. But anyway, I'm going to leave it here, pile number 4. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this reading. If this spoke to you, if this resonated, please let me know in the comment section down below. I would love to hear from you. Or you can also just give me a thumbs up, and please don't forget to subscribe as well if you haven't done that. I would love to have you on my channel, and, you know, that would help me keep this channel going as well, and let me know that you do want to see more videos from me. Yeah, thank you, and if I don't see you in any of the other piles, please take care of yourselves, and I hope to see you very soon. Bye-bye.